Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Course Consultant Show. I am here with a very special guest, Annie. Annie has harnessed her Hulk like disdain for hard sales, tacky self promotion, and overly competitive sleaze balls, and as an inspiration to help people find better ways to grow their small business. As the founder of the Non-Sleaze Sales Academy, she's guided hundreds of people towards making deeper connections, lasting impressions, and friendlier, more lucrative transactions and conversations. Annie, thank you so much for being on today's episode. I'm so excited to have you.
I am so delighted to be here talking courses. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So, sales. When
Mhm.
I found out about you and your brand and non-sleazy sales, I was so excited to talk to you all about this concept because sales can be really, really scary, especially for online course creators or maybe even established business owners who have made sales in the past, but they're just
Mhm.
looking to make more informed marketing decisions on their business marketing campaigns. So you've had some really fun guests on your show. And for those who are listening to this or watching the YouTube channel, please do check out Annie's podcast. We're going to talk about that later on in the show. But I want to ask you firstly, let's talk about how you got started with your non-sleazy sales method. Tell me all about it.
I never, ever expected to teach sales because sales was a four-letter word to me. I was just like, no. But I had been in the coaching industry for a really, really long time. And I started a gajillion years ago. I was like a life coach for, I don't know, a day back when nobody actually knew what that was. I was like, sure, I'm 20. I can tell people how to live their lives. Ugh, one of those. But, very idealistic and adorable. But I started coaching and people started hiring me. And I was like, yay, this is working. But they weren't hiring me for coaching. They were hiring me because my coaching business was profitable and theirs wasn't. So I was getting hired by other coaches. And I thought, hmm, maybe all that marketing stuff I had to learn in my muggle job back in the day was actually helpful. Cool. So then, kind of backwards, I started focusing on marketing and branding for very small businesses, not just coaches and healers, but mom and pop shops, service providers, and all of that jazz. And I met the most incredible people, Melody. They were so freaking amazing. They were so driven. Their dreams were just popping off. They were amazing, beautiful, giving, generous, brilliant unicorn humans. And they weren't making any money. And I was telling them exactly how to market their businesses, and they were doing exactly what I told them to do. And I knew what I told them to do was working, and they still weren't making any money. And I thought, what the heck is going on? If these brilliant, genius unicorns of light and joy are not making any money, then none of us are going to be able to make any money. This is ridiculous. The industry must be broken. So then I was like, the industry must be broken. Then I realized the industry's not broken. Our sales processes were broken and that they were modeling me and I was afraid to ask. So I wasn't asking. I was leaning hardcore on my marketing. I was expecting the clients to self advocate and chase me down in order to pay me. And that simply isn't what happens, even when you have a really gorgeous funnel. So I thought, this is a problem. This is a problem that originates with me. So it can also be a problem that stops with me. And I dedicated 2 years to try to figure out everything I could about selling. And then once I started working on my clients with that, I thought, you know what? There's gorgeous people in the marketing and branding space. I'm going to give up my real estate in that lane and I'm going to go over here to talk to people about the misconceptions of selling because that way we can keep these beautiful businesses alive. So that's how I got here.
Awesome. Wow. I'm incredibly excited to talk about this. So, when it comes to course creators, a lot of folks do have some sort of funnel set up, whether it's a tripwire, maybe some sort of masterclass, or maybe there's just some sort of email sequence going out, or maybe some more advanced folks are using Facebook ad campaigns or any sort of paid
Mhm.
advertisements. Now, I did happen to listen to some of the episodes that you have shared. One of the great videos you had just on your website was talking all about helping people take that next step in the sales journey. And I'm
Mhm.
really obsessed with the customer journey and walking people through what success looks like for them. So could you talk a little bit more about how you coach people specifically on
Yeah.
helping people take that next step without using all these really hurtful and harmful manipulative tactics that maybe some people who are just out for the money but not really there to serve are using in this industry or just in general?
And that's a challenge, right? And you brought that up, but I don't want to throw like course consultant, like course makers. A lot of us identify as coaches or consultants. And I love coaches and consultants. I consider myself a coach and consultant. You are my people and I am you. But there are a whole lot of people that claim to be just like us that'll turn around and tell you ad nauseum how much money they made while they were in on the toilet yesterday. No, no, that is not the way that we are going to sell, right? But I absolutely love that you brought up the customer journey because when it comes to selling, all I have to tell people is that customer journey and that relationship begins earlier than you think it does. Right. And so when people go, oh, I can't sell, I'm a coach, I love my clients. I can't sell, I'm heart centered. I can't sell, I'm values driven. Awesome. Bring that stuff along with you. None of that has to change. So, the very first step is realizing that your definition of selling is probably not an accurate definition of selling. Your definition of selling is probably more like the definition of sleaze and nasty gimmicks that we have been told is what selling is. And it's not. None of that behavior is required, but selling is. So the very first thing is to take a stand in your own business and go, I do not have to sell the way that I have been sold to, or I do not have to sell the way that I've been forced to sell for other people in the past. This is your course, folks. This is your baby. And the best thing is the coaching begins on that sales page. The coaching begins on that website. The coaching begins on that call. So if we can look at it, you hear selling is serving all the time. Instead, I want you to think today, specifically for this audience, I want you to think selling is coaching and coaching is selling. That's the very first step. Then we get into strategy, individual mindset pieces. We help you finesse the language in areas where you feel weak. We make sure your empathy is not misfiring so you can stay in that connected space but not project your insecurity all over them, right? There are a million tactics and lessons you can learn. But the very first one has to start with that foundational definition of the arm twisting, the lying, the gimmicks, the tricks, the fake scarcity, the breaking people down, all of that stuff. That's not sales, folks. That's manipulation and nastiness. We're
Right.
talking about providing a service and being compensated for it, nothing more.
I really like that you said that selling is coaching and coaching is selling. I've never really heard it phrased in that way, but I do think it's a really great way to look at it because what we're doing is we're giving information, right? As a course creator, as a consultant, or as someone who is helping others online, we
Mhm.
want to be able to serve people, but serving is really just a hard thing to understand logistically. How do I serve someone? It's not like I'm a
Mhm.
waiter going, "Hey, here's this burger you wanted. There you go."
Right.
Right?
Here's
So
this exact thing you asked for that I delivered you, and you pay someone else, and all I do is deliver it. Right. Exactly.
yeah, and so it's so great that you said that, coaching is selling and selling is coaching. So I want to ask you a little bit more about kind of like some logistical things.
Mhm.
When people are setting up their process for providing some coaching, whether it's on a sales page or through email marketing or through ad copy or whatever it is that they're providing to help people make the decision, how do you walk people through that process? Like, do you have, like, what do you think about scripts and templates and things like that, which are helpful for you for starting. But let me know, what's your process look like for helping somebody map the whole sales process out?
Templates, yay. Scripts, boo. Scripts rob you of originality and also lead you to forget that the most important thing that you should be doing on these calls, if you're lucky enough to sit down with a prospect, is listen and prescribe. A script basically has taught people that being sold to means putting on your seatbelt and waiting to be word vomited on. And a lot of people who feel so passionately about their clients, understandably, don't want to word vomit all over them, right? But if I know, okay, and the next thing I say has to be this, then I'm not listening. I'm trying to get from point A to point B. It's like being in an argument with your boyfriend in your 20s. Like, this is not going anywhere. This is just two people talking at each other. It's not accomplishing anything, right? No, no, no. That's what a sales script does. A sales template, at least, will allow you to go, listen, I need to hit these landmarks. These landmarks are important, but how I get from point A to point B is flexible. And then if I need to, I can retrofit more stuff at the end and go, we didn't even talk about the guarantee. Hold on, side note, gotta tell you about the guarantee. You can double back. You can do different things that a script won't let you do, right? That's if you're actually on the call. But when you're thinking about things like email campaigns and especially sales pages, the person at the beginning of the course, your course, and the person at the end of your course should not be the same person. There should have been growth there, right? That's why they bought the course. That's why you made the course. So the person can transform, whether they're transforming their social media, they're transforming their parenting, they're learning how to bake a good cake. I don't care. The person that came in and the person that went out are not the same person. That's the point. In these emails and everything else, they are looking for that transformation. We honor that transformation. You are here and you want to be here, right? But at the top of your sales page and at the bottom of your sales page, a similar transformation should have occurred. Largely, it's changing mindset in something in your written material. It's, I can't do this. This is overwhelming. I don't know where to start. I'm never going to pull this off. Yes, you can, and here's how. Or I've tried everything and I'm such a failure. You got to give them credit to say, listen, what you're trying to do is hard, but there is a method I can teach you, right? They have to feel more confident, more resolute. They have to feel supported and seen and safe by the end of that sales page, or they're not going to take the next jump, right? So really, honestly, we look at the problems we're solving at every single level from a landing page on, right? We are charting that customer journey that you love so well, and we're including it. It's the same exact journey as when they're in the program, when they're in the course. It's just the prologue. It starts earlier. Make sense?
Yeah, I was just when you said prologue, I literally was starting to think Star Wars with that little thing, that epic
Yes,
saga coming up
yes.
there. I was like, yes,
I
the
mean, and
saga.
sometimes that's what sales pages feel like because they just scroll on and on and on forever and ever. But it sets the scene. It meets them where they are emotionally. It tells them that where they are is okay, but not good enough for them. Whether that is, I'm kind of an inadequate parent, or my chocolate cake is not good enough. Whatever the problem, we're saying that inadequacy, that perceived stress or challenge in you is temporary. Let us help. Come take this course. Hooray. We can't sell a course if we don't talk about that transformation, and we can't wait until the course to tell people what that transformation is.
Exactly. And I really love what you said about that. One thing I want to kind of talk about is that customer journey that we were referencing before,
Mm-hmm.
because when was talking with, some folks who were mapping out their membership launch, or they're mapping out their course, or they're creating a group program, I'll say, okay, what is the ultimate outcome of this program? Like, what is it that they're going to walk away with? And some people say, well, they'll learn how to X, Y, and Z. I'm like, no, that's not the outcome. They're going to be able to achieve a goal. So, like, are they going to be able to be more confident in their sales and marketing? Are they going to have a fabulous website when they walk away from this course to be able to land more clients, right? So it's
Yes.
not about like all the technical expertise. And yes, that is necessary. That's the how to, right? Like that's the guiding you through the process. But when it comes to actually helping people solve that problem, we need to tie it back to the ultimate outcome that our customers and people who want to work with us are facing. So whether it's I'm super hungry, I want to get that cheesecake right now. That cheesecake looks fantastic and I have been craving sweets for a really long time. Let me show you how enticing this cheesecake is and how awesome it is because it is the best flavor. Now I want cheesecake for all of a sudden. Um,
Right.
but like when we're thinking about that outcome, it's really, really helpful to think through, okay, how do I get someone from point A to point Z? And
Hmm.
in order to do that, what's the challenges and obstacles that they're facing? How can I help them overcome that,
Yes.
right? Like these obstacles are
Yes.
so, you know, I lack clarity. I'm struggling in my business to try and find the ultimate, to achieve my goals. Or, I am super busy. I don't have time to mess around with some sort of DIY template. Hire me already. I just want someone to do it for me. So
Hmm.
like these are the things that people face on a constant basis. And as a consultant, as a course creator, as any sort of business, we want to be able to help overcome those objections to help people reach the ultimate goal. And it's not about this
Yes.
tripwire sales funnel process, which is great, but I think it's more so about what's that end goal? How do we help people reach it? And is the solution the right fit? All right.
Yes.
Awesome, Annie. I know you have some incredible resources for everyone, and I love that you're talking all about non-sleazy sales. What can you tell us about what you're up to, how people can find out more about you, and any other lasting thoughts that you have on sales and being non-sleazy and still coaching slash serving slash selling to our audience?
Follow the problem. Always follow the problem. And the way that I sort of track this is I want you to think about this as, those Russian nesting doll toys where there's an itty bitty doll on the inside and then there's identical ones and they build up and then you can also take them down, right? The big, 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 big problem that you mentioned, the outcome of the course, right? And I love that you mentioned that the modules are not the outcome. The modules are the method. The outcome is the outcome, tangible and emotional, right? If we start there, then we could say, well, that's ultimately the problem we want solved. But what's the problem before we take off that very first head? There's another doll right underneath it. There's another problem, right? Ooh, what's this problem? Okay, that's your previous module. We're mining down, but now we're getting into the problems of things like the sales page. Ooh, what do we want to make sure that they understand on the sales page? Now we got to figure out what to do as a workshop or for the top of that funnel. What problem do they need before they could tackle that other problem? Before I can make my magnificent cheesecake, I have to go to the grocery store. Okay, so now I'm going to give everybody a shopping list for the magical cheesecake as my freebie and then teach them how to make it in the course, right? That's the problem before. So one of the best ways that you can stay in integrity in sales is just remember it's not about you. You are facilitating the solution of a problem with your client or prospect. And as long as you keep your eye on how that problem flows and how it morphs and is solved piece by piece, you will dazzle your client before they even log in to your Podia or Kajabi or whatever you use.
Awesome. 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 So I know you do have an incredible resource for us. Is there a way that people are like, oh my gosh, I need more Annie in my life. I need to land more sales and do this thing. So how can people get access to resources? Do you have something that you could?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you are in a learning mode, if you're just sponging up, education like Cookie Monster, nom, 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 feel free to go over to my website, which is anniePruggles.com. There's a quiz, there's videos, there's about 97,000 podcasts, there's all kinds of stuff. It is an adventure land of education on my website. But, if you are in active sales avoidance, if you have something coming up that scares you, worries you, or you just don't know how you're going to pull this selling thing off, do not go to my website. Instead, what I want you to do is I want you to go to my Instagram, which is Anniepreneur, or my LinkedIn, which is just under my name, and send me a message. Let me know what you're up against and let me help you in as close to that moment as possible so that you don't have to tackle your next selling hurdle alone. I would be delighted to do that. And that is the best way for me to show you how beautiful, relaxed, and love filled selling can be. So, again, that's Anniepreneur on Instagram or my name, Annie P. Ruggles, on LinkedIn. Operators are standing by, as they say, and the operator is me.
Awesome. Well, I really enjoyed this episode. You have some really great resources and you're just a fun person. I just like, I love interviewing awesome, fun people because who cares about, interviewing these really, 7-figure entrepreneurs who have like massive empires. I mean, that's cool, but I really just like talking to people like you because you have a heart, you have a message, and you help solve problems and you're fun. So,
Thank
really
you.
cool. And make sure that you check out Annie's awesome podcast. I am going to be joining Annie on a separate episode. So I'll be sure to send this out to all of y'all who are watching and or listening to the podcast. Annie, thanks so much for being on today's episode. I'm so grateful for your time.
It was a pleasure. Thanks for having me.